Let's everyone thank Henry for everything. How many, do I have any people who ever worked in IT in the audience? Information technology, information system. Got one right there. Got two right there. All right. We have some common interest in going back. Oh, that's me. That's kind of faint.
We may have, it's still warming up.
Okay, that's perfect. I'm warming up too. I get on. Oh, by the way, you all saw my presentation yesterday. Sure. One thing you need to know about me is I'm an enthusiastic Edgar Rice Burroughs fan. Okay, and I'm proud of that because that's just the way I am. I'm a big kid. I let my enthusiasm shine through. Lessons learned in 6 years as an admin, as the lead admin at Edgar Rice, for the love of all things Edgar Rice Burroughs on Facebook. What did I say? Enlighten, entertain, and inform. That's my motto. Can you read it, please? So who am I? Well, my name is, this is my resume. I believe y'all already know my name is Jess, Terrell. The two things you need to know is that yes, I'm the lead admin to that Facebook discussion group. We're going to be talking about that group today. Love all things Edgar Rice Burroughs. That's the group I'm most acquainted with because I've been living in it now for 6 years. So that's the model I'm going to be talking about. So the other thing you need to know is I spent 42 years in IT, information technology, project leader, systems analyst, pure programmer. It's the only way I know to think. People might say lighten up. I don't know how. I don't know how to lighten up. I loved working in IT for 42 years. I did. I absolutely loved it. And I was enthusiastic about that stuff as I am about this stuff. It's the way I breathe. It's the way I live. Henry, if you please. So what you really need to know is I'm a passionate ERB fan. We've covered that. I do tend to repeat myself about that. Let's see here. I'm retired now from the workforce, dedicated my latter years to furthering Burroughs' legacy. And I used to do presentations on occasion for work. But every time I do the math, the numbers get bigger. But I spent there 20 years at night school, one class at a time. So I used to do a lot of presentations. I used to have one of those telescopic pointers. Someone took it away from me, afraid I was going to hurt myself. I never did replace the thing. So I'm trying to stretch the arm out here. The right arm will be longer than the left arm here before the end of the day. So anyhow, I'm an advanced reader for ERB Inc. Now I'm employed, but that does mean that I get to look at books before they get published and offer comments as far as editing, as far as continuity, canon, of course, those kinds of things. But I don't get any payment for that. I do what I do because I love it. I genuinely do. I love it. And I'm here because Burroughs' success is important to me. In my latter years, I'm doing what I can to further Burroughs' legacy. No kidding. That may sound like poking my putting sauce, God's truth. My background in business is a caretaker of information. Word of the day, information. All my life, I've dealt with the handling of information, storage of it, distribution of it, getting it to the right people, understanding it, analyzing it. Information is what I've done all my life. I'm still doing it. Yeah, even retired, my approach to business. My group members are my customers. Without them, I don't exist. You know, Facebook is more or less free, depending on how you look at it. Oh, there's advertisements there, of course. But it doesn't cost you anything to sign on, get an account, and join a discussion group. All that's free. The kinds of things you used to have to pay money for a magazine, a fanzine, or something, that's free. But my group members are my customers. Without them, I don't exist. So I'm an old project leader. Get the things done. All things offered here am I. I'm not speaking to no one else, putting words in my mouth. So that's a disclaimer I like to do. But this is not about me. It is about Burroughs, which reminds me, I'm also an old baseball fan. I don't really follow it like I used to. But I can distinctly recall the 1999 Cincinnati Reds. Greg Vaughn was an accomplished batter. He joined that team for 1 year. And in that one year, he drove them into the playoffs. He was a leader. It was a classic story goes around by Great Vaughn. There was one day a rookie was in the clubhouse posting about something get done. Vaughn backed that rookie in the corner and said, "It ain't about you. It ain't about your stats. It's about this team. It's about winning. It's about winning. It is about Burroughs." Next slide, please. We recognize and appreciate those that have come before us, including the Burroughs Bibler Files. Hey, the Bibler Files. Really advancing such the ERB done. There's a bunch of others. Jim Goodwin, where are you, Jim? Jim Goodwin has been running a regular feature of my discussion group called the Fanzine Corner, which has some of us introduced for the first time and reintroduced others of us to the wealth of Burroughs related fanzines out there. And that was the information keyword. That was the information pipeline for Burroughs fans for years, those fanzines. And of course, you can't have a discussion about Burroughs on Facebook without mentioning ERBC. Right here, capital letters, ERBC. Pleased to say that I have a good relationship, even though you might consider my group as a competitor to ERBC, we have a good relationship. I don't consider competitors. We all have a common goal. I'm interested in common goals, Burroughs legacy. ERBC, of course, has a website. I've oftentimes told Bill that statistics show usage on the ERBC website. I've got my own category because I'm in there all the time. I greatly admire and appreciate what he has done. I'm very sincere about that. And ERBC, the Facebook discussion group, is the gold standard model that we follow over in my group who love all things Edgar Rice Burroughs. Yeah, we have a little different niche. In fact, right here, we each have our own niche. I'm quoting Sue on. She's the one that said that. And she's right. We look at things a little different. Our perspective is different just a little bit, or our areas of interest, because Burroughs is really a lot. So our perspective there is just a little different. So there's no conflict between me, my group, and ERBC. We're in the same business. We work with each other. We have that common ground, Burroughs legacy. We appreciate those who have led fandom over the years. George recorded, the first human being I ever met who was a Burroughs fan. I found out I wasn't the only one. Thank you, George, wherever you are. I'm talking, Burroughs books began appearing around 1912. That's better than 100 years ago. I remind my group members, oftentimes I'll talk about the 100 years of Burroughs fandom. You all too, are standing on the shoulders and the fandom that has been built by people that came before you. Vern Coriel, Bob Hyde, the name too. I hate to list names. I love to give credit to people, but I hate to list names because I guarantee I'm going to leave somebody out. That's a tragedy. So I've got two on here. George, of course, that makes three. And there's plenty others, far more than I can add on the screen, and I'll still forget somebody. But we appreciate those individuals that led fandom over the years. We are proud to join the caretakers of the Edgar Rice Burroughs legacy. Next slide, Henry. Oh, by the way, feel free to interrupt me for questions. I love questions. I love questions. Okay, that's one of the things we do in our discussion group is we answer Burroughs' question. How tall is Tarzan? How does he wear his hair? What color is Jane's hair? The belly button question. Why doesn't Tarzan have to shave? Oh my Lord! There for a while. The people who are members of my group, you know that question came through about every 6 months. I devise stock answers. I know exactly where the quotations are. I love to get a question and go over into the original Burroughs books, the canon, the Bible, and look up the answer to that question. I do that all the time. I'll tell you this, and I oftentimes will find a piece of artwork that goes hand in hand with that question or that incident described in the book. And those, one of my favorites is those trading cards that Jess did back about mid-1996. FPG, I think is the company. He's got so many of the incidents, the pictures, beautiful color. It is wonderful style. Oh, another question. How big are Tarzan's muscles? He should be lean. He should be a follower. And Burroughs discussed that. I know that. But those are kinds of questions that we get. As I said, you can't talk. You can't talk about Burroughs on Facebook without mentioning Bill Hillman. we've had, in my discussion group, we'll talk more about this later on, we've had an online ERB festival 2 years now. We're doing the third one. As soon as this thing is done, I begin planning on the next one coming up in the fall. But they're really late summer. And I say forgive me, I got a story about the word I. I have a team that gives me great support. They came into play this morning to help out with the problem we had in group while I was sitting down here nervously anticipating this thing. But you got to acknowledge Bill and a tremendous effort he's done. And that first online event that we had, we gave Bill this award, which you see over here, recognizing his commitment and dedication to the legacy of Edgar. All this occurred online. A year ago, Neil Adams was our guest on. The late Neil Adams gave him a plaque also. He spent an hour via Zoom, I think it was, answering questions. I got a lot of questions. Answering questions not only from me, from some of my group members. Very gracious with his time. Really appreciate his time in doing that. Next slide. To love all things Edgar Rice Burroughs. Now we're getting down to my discussion group where I can really talk some turkey here. Objective: celebrate and further Burroughs' legacy for current and future generations. Strategy: we are both a news and information service as well as a talk show. When I was a little fella, I wanted to be a newscaster like Walter Cronkite, or maybe I wanted to be a DJ and play records because I love music. And I like all news and information service. So I view my discussion group as a news and information service. To tell you the truth, yesterday you all saw the presentation that I did on behalf of ERB. I was all over that. I got that information. I keep up with that information on new books, new products, new things. Not only from them, from ERB books. Where are you, Chip? Chip Gerlach.
He's gone. He had a funeral.
Oh, sorry to hear. New products that they are coming up with, and anyone else associated with Burroughs. I want that information because I want that. So I get the information out to my group members. I'm not pushing anything. I'm providing them the information so they can make the purchasing decision. They are informed, enlightened, entertained, and informed. Mission: engage with existing Burroughs fans and encourage more fans. That's our mission. And provide them the information. Bottom line, we leverage, fancy word, we use technology like entertainment form. Henry? Well, now, enlighten, entertain, and inform is not a new phrase, by the way. As I said, I ran into that when I was a high school kid working in a local radio station. It can be traced back to television, radio, newspapers, postal bill, the town crier, church bill, all Revere's right. Let people know what's going on so they can take the action they feel they need to take. Henry? Am I doing okay? Y'all got any questions? All right, thanks for the thumbs up. I love it. Do speak up. You will get some grease. Why Facebook? Well, the main purpose of Facebook is to help friends and family connect with one another. And all of social media is nothing else this robust. By robust, I mean it does a lot. Oh, it's got problems. I talk to Facebook support regularly. They know who I am. But the things it does enable you to do, it does as a platform. You really can't find those anyplace else. Instagram can do some of it, Twitter can do some of it, Facebook does it all. But Facebook can do more than really connect. And by the way, you may see in my presentation the term FB, that's not shorthand for Facebook. I may even say FB, so just understand that. Henry, please. So why should an ERB fan use Facebook? Well, you can share information with family and friends. You can share visual content, pictures and video. Stay in the know. As we said, largest social network in the world, 1.7 billion users. That's a lot of people. And you can play games. None of those games are Burroughs related. In my opinion, the games are notorious time wasters. But it's people choose how they want to spend their time. For some people, that's relaxed. Oh, and I have a website. You'll see occasionally on some of my slides. More as I got a website. By the way, if anyone is interested in more information I have a sign-up sheet someplace where my stack of stuff went to. I want to get your email address. Is probably the simple. Next slide. I'm not pushing. This is your choice. Be clear about that as I can. I'm providing information. You decide what you want to do. So, but if you were going to try Facebook, here's a few tips. Setting up your account, get as little information as possible. And then you don't reach well as I can't, but I'm trying to highlight some things here. So bear with me. In your day-to-day posts, give as little personal information as possible. I've seen people bare their soul and talk about all their sorrows. I feel terrible for it. But in my opinion, that's too much information. Ain't no one's business. And no, this thing's worldwide. You really want someone sitting in pick a country to know your personal business? I don't think so. Do not give your birthday. Do not give your social security number. Do not give back financial account numbers. No, in capital letters, don't do that. No private business, no private information. Don't reveal your location. In fact, I encourage using your fictitious. You're really concerned about this stuff. Use a fictitious name. Of course, that could affect people's ability to search for you. But what you do is you contact friends and people you know and trust and deal with, family, whatever it is, and you say, hey, I'm on Facebook under this name. Then they go find. Got a question? Go right ahead.
How do you do that if you're already on there under your own name?
You can set up another account.
So you set up another account and delete the group from your account or what?
If you set up another account, you can look at the original account since it's already active. Or you can just
How do you know that you don't use it?
but you can go back to that once in a while. You got to remember to get a separate.
Well, I don't know how you do that when you click this, you click a link on your Facebook page, go to your Facebook page.
Exactly, but if you were to set up another account,
In other words, you start over with another Facebook account.
yes, that's just good point. Sorry. I'm out so fast in my brain. Set up another Facebook account. You may have to write an email address.
Right, and just follow on.
Yeah, and apply for the group. Now, make sure you joining the group. Let me sidetrack here with this now. Facebook has improved some things, and I'm using quotation marks. They used to be very dependent on admins as human beings who do group member requests like that. Now they've automated it. Facebook does have huge dependence on bots. That is a kind of electronic tool. In my mind, it's simply a computer program, very robust computer program. It might be a robot sitting there typing on keyboards. I've not seen the inside of the horse, but they have automated tools that will review member requests, and they generally will let people down in this business. Whereas before we had to approve them. So we're monitoring this stuff because I'm always on the lookout for hackers. I'm always on the lookout for spammers. People like to post things that Windows street or deadly or dancing. And I don't even dump on it. So we're on the lookout for that. I got a good team working with me. Where Jim went to is co-admin with it. And Chris Adams and Andy Nunez are always going to do credit. And I'm always looking for other admins too. So we try to police that situation. I think we can stop the top of it. We heard some of the other discussion there as far as where these hackers, the spammers, instead of shopping. I saw one person selling fake cars. Where was I? Did I answer your question?
Yes.
All right, feel free to ask more. Always enjoy the questions. Don't reveal your location, use a fictitious name. If someone gives you trouble, block them. Yes, there are people who just love to fuss on Facebook. And, another thing you might consider, and I don't want to get into this discussion, but I personally do not talk politics. I personally do not talk religion on Facebook. And in my discussion group, we don't permit those topics. Now, if you're talking about some kind of religion in Burroughs device, that's fine, or political system, that's fine. But I'm talking about real life stuff. Don't want it. That's a quick trip out of the group to start that kind of conversation. Next slide, please. So now we use that ERB related business or author. Some of this, I threw in the word author here because I think this is important. May want to use Facebook. Understand your audience, demographics, engagement specifics. Understand who you're dealing with. Understand who's the type of person who's most likely to purchase your service, your book, whatever it is that you have. You can build relations. You can interact with customers. You can actually engage and have conversations with them. Individuals, halfway around the world, for example, if you're trying to do that. Google rank, increase search engine appearance. Let me tell you something. If you want to compete in today's world, learn to use today's tools. You may say, I don't understand Google. Well, there's no crime in that. Learn it or find someone who can help you make use of it. Search engines are an effective way to find things. So you want to have your product, your book, whatever it is, included where search engines will pick it up. And Amazon, for example, has its own criteria. There's ways to learn about what they're looking for. Shape your brand's reputation, inform customers about your products, information. Maintain increased engagement, provide daily information posts, move offers or events, provide social profile, reach a whole lot of people or target audience. Target audience. You can say that you wanted to do a Facebook post talking about the upcoming dump in Texas. Been there, done that. You can specify Texas, you can specify any of the states, you can specify cities for a targeted post. The Muckers, for example, have a Oakdale Fair book. They've got 2 extra copies of that for sale. And that book is very popular in Chicago. You can target the Chicago area, for example. That's where the Muckers are. So it makes it easy for them to do local business, perhaps. Enhance advertising efficiency. Develop their understanding of the audience. Location, still true. But now you're on the World Wide Web, the internet. You don't hear the phrase World Wide Web so much anymore, but that was very popular when the internet first came out. But you stop thinking about it, it's all around the world. Next slide. One key today's world, learn to use today's tools. Thank you. Facebook advantage helps build your brand. Direct connection to the audience, speeds information used for education, used for marketing. Helps find people with similar interests and purpose. Henry, next slide, please. Disadvantage, privacy concerns, active account, can cause addiction, can disrupt sleep. I don't believe in sleeping. Now, I've been that all through my IT career, I was that way. One of these days, I'm not going to kill dead. I'm going to kill over sleep. There is a risk of cyberbullying. Bullying, I can't say it, but I know what it is. Can lead to insecurity, jealousy, reduced intimacy to the family, makes you vulnerable to scam. That is where someone's trying to separate you from your money. Again, don't give that financial information out. Don't give that personal information out. Next slide. Why even suggest Facebook? Do all these positives outweigh the negatives? Well, only you can decide. It's a personal decision. I've been hit hard by the negatives. I still live, by golly. John Carter, I still live. Bottom line, you got to do what's right for you. Can you read it, please? But a lesson for Burroughs himself, the need to adapt. Tarzan, the art from infant, alone in the jungle, Apollo saved him and raised him. He learned to live as a Mongolian and became what I call the greatest athlete in the world. John Carter, he dies on Earth, gets a second chance as a stranger in the strange land of Barsoom. And the land of time forgotten, the fittest survive, evolved through as many as 7 stages in a lifetime. I went back to counting. Darwin showed us the ability to adapt necessary components to survival. We may not be talking about survival here, but we may be talking about thriving, or say again, improving your business or improving your information knowledge about Burroughs. Well, this is just all too much. Alvin Pablo in 1970, futurist, said, too much change in too short a period of time is called future shock. So how do you mitigate this? How do you deal with this? I have a website. Check out this link. There'll be some tips that are helpful. I started in IT in June 1974. So I've grown up with a lot of this kind of stuff. I realize that. Look at me. I'm okay. I'm normal. Oh, you think this PowerPoint presentation is also my notes. Give your opinion about automated checkouts. So even though I may be seen as very pro technology, you can't get me to go through the automated checkout in Kroger or a grocery store. I prefer to stand in line where a human being finally gets to me and looks at my groceries and handles each one of them one at a time and says, wonders, why are you getting this? You don't need this. I hate to go through the automated checkout. It amazes me that the Kroger employees, Kroger's in my area, that you may have food line or something like that down here. It amazes me that Kroger employees are standing there encouraging you to go through the automated checkout. That thing's eating their jobs. I know that. So I prefer not to use it, given the choice, the automated checkout.
HEB.
I beg your pardon?
HEB is the grocery chain.
Okay, thank you very much. It's not about information, well, that information. Also talk about pioneers. By the way, there's an old saying in IT, when someone develops something new, be it a computer programming, old terms, the new technology, let's say, a new phone, that's a good example. Let someone else buy the thing and try it. It may have some bugs in it, let them find the bug and get those patched out. Pioneers are the ones with arrows in their back, so let someone else get it pioneer. It was my second IT job. The manager of IT told me that. This is the IT guy told me this. The pioneers be the ones to try it first. And all this is that never-ending question of how to deal with change. So I like things just the way they are. I do too, to tell you the truth. I'm very nostalgia oriented. I like things just the way I don't like change. I don't necessarily want to embrace it, but sometimes I'm just stuck with it. And I've been in the business of changing stuff for other people. I've been in the business for 42 years of changing computer programs that the accounting department used, payroll department used, marketing used. Sometimes they didn't ask for that change. So it was necessary because it was a software effort, or it was necessary because management said do it. So I had the job of inflicting change on other people. Like it or not, change is a real thing in the world. And this goes back to that.
It's the one kind.
Bingo, thank you. Love it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, that's all my notes. Next slide, please. Alvin Toffler mentioned him a moment ago, the futurist. He's the guy, we talked about him a moment ago. So in 1990, he identified the term future shock. In 1990, he wrote about power shift. He described three types of power, three types. Force, physical power, muscle, we're kind of familiar with that. Wealth, economic power, money, we're kind of familiar with that. Knowledge, power of information, that key word, the mind. Power shift. We're seeing information become more and more a role player, I'll put it that way, a role player in today's world. So get on that information highway and get the information you need in order to be effective, in order to find things you're looking for. Burroughs books on eBay. Facebook provides a means to enlighten, entertain, and inform. That's why Facebook, it allows us to do that. So fans and customers can learn about new book, new product, new service, or an event like Dum Dum. Henry, please. I may be less animated than yesterday, but I'm still just. I think the reality of everything's kind of set on. God love that. Let's just say you would take a look at Edgar Burroughs on Facebook. What would you see? Well, there is a Burroughs presence on Facebook. Oh, in terms of in the Facebook world, a page is like a bulletin board where people post announcements. That's the best analogy I can give you. But maybe others, and someone come up with a better idea of what a page is on Facebook, speak up with it. A Facebook group is kind of like a room where everyone chats. And in both cases, you post pictures, you can say something, so they function just a little different. Henry, please. So we're going to take a brief look at Facebook groups. 28 Facebook groups devoted to Edgar Rice Burroughs, or Tarzan, or related titles. 28 of them. Yes, there is overlap amongst these groups. I, for one, am a member of just about every one of these groups. So yes, there's overlap. But my point is, there's interest in Burroughs in social media. There's interest. So yes, I know, I'm well aware, because I've been involved in the Billy Collins board, that we don't have as many members as we used to have. I'm well aware of that. But there are Burroughs fans out there. Question is how to reach them. Next slide, Henry. This is the other half of that 28. Oh, there's my discussion group is full. On the previous screen, had ERB's equal. All right, Henry, please. And this 28 does not include groups whose focus is Sword and Planet, Planetary Romance, Jungle Stories, Pulp Magazine, Pulp Stories, and Burroughs groups that are less than 100 members and are inactive. Didn't include them in that count because we'd be here until tomorrow looking at that list of discussion groups. But these are all topics that are going to touch on Burroughs topics. Sword and Planet, let me John Carter, First Neighbor come to mind very quickly. Planetary Romance, that could be a Barsoon, no question about that. Jungle Stories, hard, and of course, pulp magazines. That's where most of Burroughs characters came from. Is the pulp magazines and the pulp. Henry, please. So let's take a look at a handful of these discussion groups. I will read these numbers off. I don't know if you can see them or not, so I'll read them all. If I need to reiterate a number or something, just speak up. These are, what order did I choose? Member counts the order. Oh, one of the things I always do is put things, arrange things, and organize things. That's the IT guy in me. So I stop and think, what order did I put this in? We're always sorting stuff. Facebook support. I think it's about Facebook support. Hashtags. And Facebook made a major install last fall. It was called Meta, and it made the news, and they changed their company name, that sort of thing. And they installed a major new version of Facebook. In my opinion, no one will admit that it's a major rewrite. What I've seen, they changed a bunch of stuff, and it doesn't work as well as it used to work. And they're letting the business users, that's me, the members or customers, if you like, they're letting us test it for them. And I talk to Facebook support regularly to file a report. I say, here's the problem, here's what it's doing, here's how it's supposed to work, here's a picture of it. So about 24 hours later, I get a picture back saying, what kind of problem are you having? What's it supposed to do? Send me a picture. So we go round and round. They have been good about fixing most of those problems. There's been a couple of occasions where they marked the problem as fixed. It was still a problem, and I fussed at them about that. They said, well, we're going to fix this long term. Okay, as long as y'all don't forget it. Don't forget it, because that's my reminder and yours too, that this is still a problem. So I stay after them about that. So I have Facebook support for discussion groups, Facebook support for pages to different groups of people. I'm not sure they're talking to each other. But I grew up doing that kind of thing. I've been on the support end, so it comes naturally to me. I'm not fussing about it, just something you have to deal with. Fantastic World of Edgar Rice Burroughs. You see this member count here? 26,922 members in that group. About this group, Fantastic World, they lean more on, shall we say, the explicit costumes favored by some of the Burroughs characters. Some of these members, I've not analyzed the membership not at all. I'm speculating here. I prefer to get on facts. If I'm telling you what I think, speculating, I will indicate that. I'm speculating now. Some of those 26,000 maybe youngsters who are reading Dynamite comics who think that Digitaurus is the warlord of Mars. I ain't kidding. That's how Dynamite pushed it, or they have done that story. But some of those may grow up to be legitimate true Burroughs fans, like you all who are interested in the original stories, who appreciate the artwork, who maybe one day will gather a dum-dum. As I said, I'm out there looking for Burroughs fans. Taking back to Barsoom as a discussion group, Michael Sellers, you know him, was involved in setting up this group when the John Carter movie came out. Notice here, their current membership count is 9,800. And you see over here, their growth is a negative. They've lost some 200 members. You also see here, you also see here their daily posts average of 0.7. They're not very active. Even though they're a good sized group, they're not doing a whole lot there. That average daily post is probably my favorite statistic. I'm a statistics freak. I used to play with batting averages for baseball, for example, those statistics, fantasy baseball, those kinds of things. I haven't figured out batting averages for Burroughs yet, but I'm working. We love all things Edgar Rice Burroughs and read, that's my discussion group. 6,600 members. We average 37.4 posts per day, average. That tells me we're very active. That tells me we have fresh content. Facebook's a little bit like the radio. You turn on the radio in the morning and listen 15 minutes, and you turn it off and go do your thing. You turn it on at lunchtime, perhaps, you listen 15 minutes, turn it off, go do your thing. Turn it off on the drive home from work, listen 15 minutes, 30 minutes rush hour rush hour. Turn it off and go do your thing. Every time someone tunes in, so to speak, my Facebook discussion group, I want fresh content out there. So I see that 37.4 daily posts. That tells me that we're doing our job of keeping fresh content out there, putting something people haven't seen before or haven't seen recently out there for them to enjoy. Be it a picture, a post, some news information, something. ERB's is right on our tail. Now, I tell you, with all these thousands of people, and we're not being competitive, but ERB's can catch me any day. Couple hot weekend of membership with pretty, so you can catch right up. As I said, we're not competing, working together. 20.9 average daily post. This Tarzan group, Tarzan History of Films, Novels, and More Interesting title. I think that title probably draws members in. They have gained 2,800 members since December 31, 2019. They've had good growth. They've had better growth than my group has. My suspicion, but they're not that active though. There is 4.3 daily posts per day. So they got members growing up, they're not that active. My guess, and I mean guess only, is that people come in, they do search for Tarzan, they see what looks like a good group, so they join it. But the group's not very active for whatever reason, and they go elsewhere and they come over and see me. And then Edgar Rice Burroughs Worlds of Adventure. Wally, a friend of mine named Wally runs Edgar, good friend, good guy. Again, we cooperate. We work together. We got that common goal. So I want to make sure I can give Wally a little bit for Worlds of Adventure. He's had some good growth. He's averaging 4.2 posts per day. Henry, any questions about this? I love Facebook statistics. I can talk to you all day about it. Henry, please, thank you. One of my side projects, Edgar Rice Burroughs Headline News. This is a page as opposed to a group of pages I have. Someone posts a news item in my discussion group. Let's say ERBbooks.com, Jim Gerlach's a company has got a new book out. We'll post it to my discussion group. We share it over here. People do what's called a like and a follow on this. In effect, they subscribe for free to this page, and you get a notification that, hey, there's a new post on this page. They go see it. ERBbooks.com has a new offering. That's why I'm calling it headline news. Since my discussion group is so busy, I wanted someplace for people to go and see what the hot news is. There's that Walter Point right. 730. Oh yeah, I did. 733 likes, so 774 followers. This group was created. I beg your pardon. This page was created August 2009. Henry, please. Now, again, love those statistics. Demographics and engagement specialists. These are statistics based on that Facebook page I just showed you headline news. Here I get information on, this orangey color here is info. This gray color here is lady folk. Okay. So you see it's predominantly men. You kind of figured that confirms it, at least as far as this page is concerned. And age ranges 45, 54 here is this chunk. Nice size chunk over here, going up to 44 years old. 65 plus, of course, that's a good size chunk, as does 55 and 64. So here's the age range. So you might ask yourself, where would you find someone of this age group? So that might be a way of targeting, or you can specify the age group. That might be one from promotion. So that might be a way of targeting potential customers. Oh, Instagram. I have a presence on Instagram also. I have 2,029 followers on Instagram. And we have the kind of statistics as far as gender and age. Henry, please. Post types, this is some average posts, typical posts. A post from fully, I tell this to my group members, I still don't listen to it. Jim, go ahead, you got a question?
Can you go back to slide one, Henry?
One slide, please, backwards.
Oh, back one slide.
Yeah, back.
Why do you think you have so many more female followers on Instagram than you did in?
Oh, good question.
Earlier ages?
Thank you, that's exactly right. And my impression is that in general terms, there's my glasses, at least I'll lose it, there they are. In general terms, he's correct. Instagram appeals to a younger group, a younger age range than Facebook. There's a lot of lady folk on Instagram, and I would say that I'm guessing that's why. I'm not pursuing them, but I'm guessing that's why. But that's a good point, because if you have a product, for example, I was wearing my jeans t-shirt. Have a product that might be of interest to female type customers. Might not post on Instagram. That's a good point. Sorry. Yes. I heard, yes, go ahead. Where do you see it? Say again? Where did I get the ages from?
People put their birthdays in?
Yes.
Oh, that's how.
Thank you. I appreciate you chipping in because I was drawing a blank. You're right. Any other questions? What other questions? What part of science fiction is based on what if? I love the question. All right, Henry, please, on the slide.
I'll go back.
Yeah,
There you go.
post types. This shows, and this is for a different, for another group. But this shows you that post with a photograph has an average reach of 39. The point with this is posting on Facebook. I tell my members, and I do it. It's rare that I don't do it. Include a picture of the post. Pictures will automatically get attention. So if you're posting about an excerpt from Burroughs' book, as I often have to do, I go around looking for a picture which illustrates that excerpt. A great picture of Zednik Fury. Just came up and I saw this in my group last night. The young Tarzan, Jungle Tales, and one of his Mangani friends bent over drinking water out of a water pool or something. And there's a book excerpt that goes hand in hand with that. So you find that picture, and Burroughs drew the picture, maybe some other people did too, and you include that picture when you post. You're more apt for your post to get attention if you include a picture. I have people post and don't include pictures. Their post might flat out get ignored simply because it doesn't have a picture. Grabs attention. Another way to is if you got a link to a website, include that. When posting. Okay. Henry, please.
Quick question, Jess.
Go ahead.
So that average is 39. Is that a Facebook average, or is that your page average or your group average?
Good question. This is for not the group. This is for a page. And it's not the inline news page. It's for another page.
Okay.
With the name here. I've got some other pages. It's for one smaller page. That's why the numbers on it. Okay. This comes from creating our presentation, modifying it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
If you're zooming, can you repeat the question from the audience because the Zoom results can't do?
Thank you. That came up earlier, didn't it? Questions? All right. Attention, those of you listening at home on Zoom and around the world. Love that phrase, around the world. The old radio it is. Question was, and correct me if I goofed this. The correction was, what was it? The question was about.
Is that photos from your group, or is that Facebook wide?
This is from one of my Facebook pages. Thank you. So I haven't seen your home. The question is, are these statistics from all of Facebook or simply from one of my pages? This is from one of my pages. It's not the page I'm talking to the projector. This is from one of the pages, not the one I showed, but a different page. The point is that Facebook can provide this kind of information to let you know how far of a reach you have. Needless to say, the more for a page, the more likes and follows that you have, the greater that reach can be. I hope that addresses the question. Is there anything else? I don't think so. All right, Henry, please. Thank you for bringing that up, Bill. So since I'm so IT oriented, there are some selected business philosophies that I carry forward in the management of the group. As I stated earlier, group members and customers, our customers, I'm not needed. We do what we can to help people out. I call this customer service. If someone is looking for a book, perhaps a rare copy or something, we'll help. We'll look around with them. We'll look at A-books. We'll look at ERBC. We'll look at eBay and those kinds of places to say, or we'll point them to, if it's a new book, we'll say go over to CD Run Productions to get a copy of Iron Barbarian that Tom Simmons has. Answer those kinds of questions. We encourage and answer the ERB questions, as I noted just a moment ago. Successful to others. I've got a good team helping me out. Jim Goodwin is here, of course. Andy Nunez and Chris Adams, who has that scientist in Marsville coming out. We mentioned that yesterday. They're on my admin team, and they're great folks to work with. And believe me, I need their help, and they are tremendous help. Teamwork. One of my studies in my never-ending night school program. Teamwork, an acronym. Together, everyone achieves more. I'm big on teamwork. This morning, while Henry was still speaking, I'm sitting in the back there, being good. And you see me carrying my couch around. That's my iPad, so I can stay in touch with what's going on. One of my admins was working on a problem for me. One of our group members, Frank Granger, who some of you know, was having trouble posting. So he contacted me, as he should. And I said, look, I'm busy, but I get someone to help you out. So I contacted Chris and began looking into the problem for me. And I'm sitting back there monitoring it on my iPad. This is straight out of my IT support days, I gotta tell you. I was sitting, New Year's Eve one night, I was sitting in a movie theater by myself on a whim, watching one of the new Star Wars films, probably one of the last third trilogy. I get a phone call, it's also New Year's Eve, yeah, it's month end. I get a phone call saying, we got a problem at work. Found out some 1,200 transactions been messed up. And we were doing month-end processing about 3 hours later. Had 3 hours resolved, so you got to fix within 10 minutes. That's the way I live. I've been doing that all my life. So point is, Frank was having trouble doing a post. Facebook was being cantankerous. As I said, it's got some bugs in it. And Chris was looking into the problem. I was kind of keeping tabs on. He handled it beautifully. That's teamwork. It's the way we work together. It's how we get problems resolved. Common cause. Another philosophy is common cause. We may disagree on different aspects of Burroughs about the stories or such, but we got common cause. We need to work together to spread the word that Burroughs books are good, they're influential, they're guides. They offer lessons to be learned. We need to spread that word. Yeah, we have our differences, we'll hash those out, but we have that common cause. Don't forget that. Don't forget that common cause. Henry, please. You go into Facebook, this slide may be out of order. I have shuffled this like cards several times. This presentation. But the Facebook newsfeed is to offer a definition. It's the center column of Facebook homepage. I'll show you a picture. It shows updates of people on pages. Take it as body support over that. If I'm on Facebook, I've got my newsfeed. Mary over here's got her newsfeed. Bob over there's got his newsfeed. We're all three friends. So their post and my post, Mary's post and Bob's post will all be out here where we can all see them. Now, Facebook may feel that based on the interest I've demonstrated by my searches, the effectiveness of Google searches, that I would be interested in Joe's post. I'm friends with Bob and Mary and Jess. Facebook has discovered that I have some common things with Joe, common interests with Joe, so it'll let me see some of Joe's posts. And then I have the opportunity to friend Joe if I like. Henry? Now, this is what Facebook newsfeed looks like. So again, if you're really on Facebook, what would you see? This is administrative stuff that I deal with. You probably wouldn't see that. But Nico Gago, the new invention of Tarzan, with ERB web comics, that's the post you're seeing out there right now. But the Facebook newsfeed slide, it scrolls right through here. It scrolls up, it can scroll down. So you can see current posts, that something, someone posted just a moment ago. And you scroll down a little bit, you see a post that's a few minutes old, scroll down a little bit. You see a post that was yesterday, scroll down a little bit more. You see a post from last week. May have scrolled quite a bit in my group, where we average 37.4 of these posts per day. Henry? Typical day, love. I've been saying this for years. A typical day in the love of all things Edgar Rice book. We talked about mankind, we talked about Booster, we talked about Opar, we talked about Python, we talked about Harsoon. We take a trip over to the Antor, we run up to the moon, to Vatana, we hang out beyond the farthest star. We have new friends. We of course have Tarzan. We enjoy our great books. We talk about old favorites. These are the kinds of topics we're talking about. Henry, please. We do it. I mentioned earlier we do an online event akin to Dum Dum. It's all online. You come into the group and we turn the floodgates loose. We average. I'm down here. We average. No, there we go. In this, what is it, 7-day event, 6-day event? We average 106.5 posts per day. That was in the year 2020. In the year 2021, we averaged 97.3 posts per day during this event. It runs August 27th, September 1, August 27th being Tarzan Day. I was trying to find this, I couldn't find it. And I'm pretty good with it, I couldn't find it. As I recollect the story, Tarzan Day was established by the Louisiana legislature in recognition of about the same time that y'all had prior Dum Dum there in Morgan City. Not the most recent one, a couple years ago, the one before that. Tarzan Day was recognized there to give Albo some publicity, I suppose. So I got wind of that. So we were looking for this online event. And of course, we knew Burroughs' birthday was September 1. That's a kind of an online celebration anyhow. August 27, Tarzan Day, just a few days before that. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 1, 6 days. So we did this online. This is the event where we had, you saw Bill Nolan's picture earlier, where we had Bill's guest fire, and then we had like Adams last year for a guest fire. We did, I'll give you an interview. I've not done any interviews here because I've had microphone issues. I haven't had time. But we did 9 online interviews in last year's ERB Love Fest. Oh, this event is called ERB Love Fest. Up there at the top, jumping around. Up there at the top, you see where ERB Love Fest, all the times right there. That's our online event. Any questions? No? All right, Henry, please. When embarking on a project, from project management, another passion of mine, I'm proud of that. When you're developing a project, for example, you're building a house. What's this house going to look like? It's always a good idea to have some pictures, some concept of what house is going to look like when you're done. So when you're done, you want to be able to identify what it's supposed to look like, so you know whether or not you see it, you got it done right. Every Burroughs fan wants to relive this moment. When people get to this moment, reliving this kind of moment, that's when we know we've done a good job with the love of all. Any questions? I'm done, y'all. Any questions? Go.
I'm on the site quite a bit. I'm a member there. Check it every day and browse through it. I think I've seen the more comment to ask if you're to comment about it. I think I've seen what look like foreign names joining the group more recently than in the past.
Quite possibly.
And I wonder how will people in foreign countries, I'm assuming there's Burroughs fans all over the world, but I don't know how if they're like American and so like we are, some of these dum-dums, but how do you vet those people that come in? The foreign names and the languages. How do you know they're really Burroughs fans, and do you lock them or bring them in?
That's a very good question. Well, they may be a dyed-in-the-wool Burroughs fan. They may be curious. They may have some ulterior motive. Yes, those are valid concerns. That's what we on the admin team, that's one of our big concerns. Now, I will say, first of all, for most languages, I've found that Facebook, if a person posts in his own language, Facebook, I'm not posting right now, Facebook provides a translation. It's in tiny print there, but they'll translate it to English for you. There are Tarzan, I can tell you there are Tarzan fans worldwide. And we keep an eye on them. And if we see something inappropriate, we're all over it as soon as we're aware of it. It's kind of play it by ear. I think the best answer I can give you. Jim, do you have any comments on that? How do we handle people that may or may not be Burroughs fans?
Well, we screen them and we catch a few spammers and we delete them. And, but we're very cautious about that because we try to, especially if somebody inadvertently post something inappropriate, we don't kick them out the first time unless it's really bad. And
They go on my list.
yeah, and then that's right. You don't want to get on Jess's list.
Well, Facebook shares, right, at the site, they're in these other groups, you can see if they're in other groups. You can see if you have mutual friends.
It's kind of like Santa Claus's bad boy or bad girl list. You don't want to get on Jess's list.
But Tracy's point, we can look at their profile and see if they're already a Burroughs fan, if they've been on another Tarzan group, that helps make.
We get some, and we get these young ladies that post, and you look at their website, and they're all scantily clad, and
They're not wearing digital stuff.
They're an automatic, yeah.
And they don't have any friends.
Yes.
Or any post past history, actually.
and that's a pretty good flag right there.
We don't need that.
Are you finding more foreigners are coming in? It seemed to me like there are. I was kind of wondering confirmation.
For a guy who keeps statistics, I have not kept formal statistics on this. You're asking a very valid question. There has always been an influx ever since they launched this discussion. I can't give you the numbers on that, but we handle each on an individual case-by-case basis, I would say. We keep an eye on them, and if someone acts up, I don't care where they're from, I don't care what they wear, what language they speak. In general, I'm open to everyone. I want Burroughs fans. That's what I'm interested in. But if they can't behave, they're gone.
Well, I'm applying on the positive side of things. I think it's encouraging to see foreigners participating
I
in
agree.
a group. I feel like there's more.
I agree.
And I like it.
We get very few people that go on the naughty list. I mean, of the numbers we get, very small percentage, very small.
One moment. Thank you, Jason. Sloan.
I'm trying harder there.
He said they try harder. Appreciate your support there, Bill. We, as you've noticed, we also recognize some of those that Burroughs' influence. You know, I'm doing a Phantom post. Well, I haven't been doing them recently because I've been down here, but I do a Phantom cartoon post daily. I do a Flash Garden post daily. And the Phantom is incredibly popular worldwide. Anthony and I were talking about that very thing just yesterday. Go ahead.
You've been reprinting, I know, some of the daily strips from some years ago.
Yes.
I reprint each week on my page, I post the new Phantom Sunday page. They've got a new adventure, Return to the Temple of the God. Began 3 weeks ago, and I was wondering if you mind if I started posting it on your.
It's very delightful, very kind of you to offer. Yes, the answer is yes. Thank you so much.
I will, when I get home, post the first 3 installments, and then starting tomorrow, I'll do it when it comes out.
That'd be great, because that will kind of make up a little bit for how then.
But it's in a tomb of Egyptian gods, and it's a Burroughs type
It's
story.
right up my alley. It's right up everyone's alley. And my point with that is the Phantom is very popular worldwide, and there is a Burroughs influence there. The Burroughs didn't. Someone said I didn't know he wrote Phantom. Really did, but my voice is weak. But there is a Burroughs influence. So it's entirely possible they're aware of the Phantom post. They come there so they can see that every day. But your points are well taken. All I can say is we keep an eye on it. Good question. I asked for questions. Good question. Any other questions? Not putting your time.
Well,
Jim, I don't know if everybody knows, but we have a special little boy here today. This
yeah.
is our birthday boy.
Happy birthday to you.
thanks and gratitude to each of you. I have to say though, it ain't about me, it's about Burroughs. Thank you all so very much. You're very kind. You know, but I also have to say, I wouldn't have done this presentation if Jen hadn't asked me to be honest about it. So I'm very grateful, and I meant to say this earlier, I'm very grateful to him for believing in me. I have a short story, actually it's a small novella in the fanzine that he created for this event. I wouldn't have written that if Jim hadn't encouraged me. So my gratitude to you for sure, to all of you all for being here. You ever give a party and be afraid no one's going to show up? I've had that happen. I was afraid that no one would show up for my presentation. So I'm very grateful for your time, your effort, and your patience in sitting here and listening to me carry on and carry on. I think I'm done.
Lunchtime.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a Whataburger run again.
It's already off, it's not being shared.
Wanna go get a special treat.
And thank you again for handling all this stuff. Thank you very much.
No sweat.
By the way, I Whataburger. Oh, okay. In fact, one more.